All right. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, we'd like to give all praise and glory to Yahawah,
BAHASHAM,
BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone and taught us his truth, and salutations to the hopeful elect that's around the four corners of the globe. And the elect begins with the 144,000. Yahawah, who the world ignorantly calls God, and Jehovah. BAHASHAM is in the name. YAHAWASHI, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. The Rakakwadash shares the Holy Spirit. We're the brothers of the Great Millstone Chicago camp. I'm the brother I join with
the brother Ibadia.
Come back at you, brothers and sisters at a household of faith of the Hopeful Right Select with another lesson. And Lord, when we hope this lesson be edifying through the spirit and power of YAHAWASHI. Once again, we hope this lesson is edifying. And there's a lot of things, going on, related to prophecy, man. And, just to really talk about those small hats that's in the land of Israel today, man. Hey, it is coming out, man. And what the truth is ultimately what being made known, that they're not the people of YAHAWASHI, man. That they are the Edomites, more so the chief tribe of Amalek, of the nation of Edom. So all these different things are coming out, man. And it's beginning with this word, man. Because we know, through biblical prophecy, what prophecy states how the true people of YAHAWASHI will get in that land, not by a bow for a declaration, and there will ultimately be peace when the children of Israel is ultimately back in the land of Israel, man. And if I may back you up with this real quick, because what's going on in the so-called Middle East, man? Well, which is Asia, all that territory is which is known as Asia, not the Middle East. What is going on in that landmass right now, man? Wars on top of wars, man. And we know that everything is building towards the third world war. But we know, I'm gonna grab it, but we know when the true children of Israel get into that land, that it's gonna be complete peace, man. But right. Just to start it off, this is the book of Isaiah 2 and verse 1. And it reads, the word that Isaiah, the son of Amos, saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem, right? The southern and the northern kingdom.
That's right.
And it shall come to pass in the last days, and right, we're in the last of the last days, man. We're in the last few remaining prophecies before the Lord ultimately, call it, wraps, man, of this kingdom. It says, in the last days that the mountain of Yahweh's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow into it. So ultimately, what that mountain is talking about, Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI's government. What is Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI's government, man? The governing body of the elect, the 144,000. That's the governing body of Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, man. It says what? All nations shall flow into it, man. Meaning what? All nations are going to be subjugated to the true people of Israel, man. Starting with YAHAWASHI, man. But it's the people today, flowing to the land of Israel today. No, they're ultimately joining in with missiles and things of that nature. You had something to add, Ibaya?
Khan, yeah. I mean, the throne of David is not going to have any opposition.
Yep.
So that's why it says the mountain of Yahweh's house, the mountain is the government, it shall be established. Right? In the top, it shall be exalted above the hills. Like the brother mentioned, the nations are going to be subject unto the throne of David. And that is not what we're seeing happening, because the current people trying to control the land, they have nothing but opposition.
That's right.
Everyone wants them out of that region, and it's been nothing but struggle, violence, right? So that's a mismatch with the scriptures, with the biblical, the characteristics, and how the earth will be when the real Israelites are in that land in rulership.
And may I make another point on? There is not going to be joint rulerships. The people of Israel is only going to be in power. But look who's in power right now, man. You have America, which is governed by the Edomites. You have the land of Israel over there. You have Amalek doing their thing, man, which ultimately they control the whole world. But we're not going to have no joint rulership with any other nation, man. Ultimately, America, being a superpower in the planet Earth. No, that's not going to be the case, man. Hey, beginning with YAHAWASHI, you're going to have King David. You're going to have 144,000. It's only going to be what? As I read in that Isaiah 2 and verse 2, man. Above all these different governments, man. You're not going to have another country ruling a side of us, man. You're not going to have that, man. But Isaiah 2 and 3, it says, and many people shall go and say, come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of Yahawah, to the house of the power of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of Yahawah from Jerusalem. And is that happening today? Is that happening at this current moment? No. As we mentioned before, everybody is ultimately what? Aiming to destroy Israel, man, and those people in that land, man. Nobody is coming to learn it from the small hat.
and they're not pushing out the holy scriptures. They're not pushing out the truth. They're not pushing out the Bible. They don't even believe in the Bible. That right there tells you, man. That tells you everything you need to know.
Yes, sir.
It says
Yep.
it said, "For out of Zion shall go forth the law, man, and the word of Yahweh from Jerusalem." All right, the only ones pushing forth the word of Yahweh, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, are the prophets, the hopeful elect, who are scattered throughout the earth, man. Not in a position of rulership, not in a position of power, not with military might. You see?
And this is another thing I want to add to Ibaya. Hey, because when the true children of Israel get in that land, man, we're going to be under the second covenant, man. Meaning what? We're going to have spiritual powers. Hey, where's the Lord? The Lord is supposed to be ultimately what? There. YAHAWASHI is supposed to be, amongst his people, man. Where's YAHAWASHI?
They're basically saying that they're in the kingdom of heaven.
Hey, we're supposed to be under the new covenant. We're not going to sin, man. But what's going on in the Holy Land today, man? Which we call it what? The unholy land, because what's going on in the Holy Land today, man? Pride parades, ultimately what? Eating of abominations, all type of filthy acts, man. But when the true children, yep, exactly. So when the true children of Israel get in that land, man, there's not going to be any sinning, man. You know what? Because the children of Israel are going to be 100% perfect, man. Spiritual power. The Lord is going to be amongst us, man. I'm going to finish this out real quick. Salakia for the run. Isaiah 2:4 says, "And he shall judge among the nations and shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore." And that's the point I wanted to get into in that verse 4, man. Hey, what's going on in the so-called Middle East right now, man? Against the land of Israel. Iran is ultimately, destroying, ultimately dropping rockets and missiles upon the land of Israel right now, man. But when the true children of Israel get in that land, there's not going to be any more war, man. In fact, these different weapons are going to be turned into gardening tools, man, to ultimately to work. There's not going to be any more war, which ultimately goes, against who those people are in the land of Israel right now, man. They're proclaiming to be what? The people of the Most High. But hey, everything that we're reading right now, ultimately what? This proves that what? That they're the people of the Lord, man.
I got another quick one to back that one up. Isaiah 2. This is Isaiah 11:9. "They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain, for the earth shall be full of the knowledge of Yahweh, as the waters cover the sea."
Yep.
So just to back it up, just to back it up, in the kingdom of heaven, there will be no destruction, no violence in the land. And also, the earth will be full of the knowledge of Yahweh. So everybody on the earth is going to know who the real God is. All right. Obviously, YAHAWASHI is going to be here ruling. So there's going to be full of the knowledge of Yahweh BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, which again is not the case right now.
Yep. May I back you up, Ibaya?
Okay.
This is the book of Deuteronomy 33:28. And it reads, "Israel then shall dwell in safety alone. The fountain of Jacob shall be upon a land of corn and wine. Also as heaven shall drop down dew." Meaning what? Israel shall dwell in safety alone. It's those small heads dwelling in safety alone. The answer is no, man.
They're in
Which ultimately this proves that what? Which proves that they are not the people, man.
They're living in constant fear.
And the fact, when the true children of Israel get in that land, hey, we're going to be blessed, man. That land is going to be blessed. The fact that, nothing really grows in the land of Israel and they have to ultimately import certain things like trees, different things of that nature to ultimately to keep us sustained, just ultimately shows you that what? Even the land itself is not blessed. Because what? The true people of the Lord is not in that land, man.
Man, it even says that in Ezekiel 36 too.
You grab that up.
The land that was desolate will be like right here. I mean, there's a lot in this Ezekiel 36, but just because we're mentioning this point real quick, Ezekiel 36 and 34, "And the desolate land shall be tilled, whereas it lay desolate in the sight of all that passed by. And they shall say, This land that was desolate is become like the Garden of Eden, and the waste and the desolate and the ruined cities are become fenced and are inhabited."
You got it up.
God, so the land is not yielding its increase because it's filled with iniquity. It's trodden down by the Gentiles. So they have to actually import stuff. They even had to import trees.
Yeah,
Right? It's essentially a desert, but the reality is that that's the most beautiful, sought after land on Earth. But we understand that everything is upside down. So in the kingdom, it's going to be restored to that Idan, that paradise.
Khan. And also the fact that what was the president of Egypt? I believe it was 1952. I could be wrong. What's that? Nasir Muhammad. He
Yeah,
said the true people of the Lord, the Israelites, left black and came back white. Loosely paraphrased. If you could bring up that image.
yeah. I'm not sure if that's his name. That's
Yeah, I'm
oh,
thinking
right
about
here.
somebody else
This
completely
guy.
different.
This guy.
Uh,
Nasser.
yeah,
I
just
got
type in president of Egypt left black came back white.
see if we can get it. Here it is. Um, see if I could get this right quick. Yeah, they left black the war for Israel. When he was asked about the peace in the Middle East, the late president of Egypt, Gamal Abdel Nasser, stated, "The Jews will never be able to live here in peace because they left here black but came back white."
Yeah, left black and came back white, man. Because even Ishmael even know that they're not the true people of the Lord, man. They're ultimately what? They're converts, man. You know, and ultimately what? They ultimately claimed that land through the Balfour Declaration, and ultimately when those small hats, the first day they were over there was that the first night it was war, man. You know, and we know how the true children of Israel are going to get into that land, man. If you can grab Jeremiah, I believe it's 16 or 14, like real quick, I buy you.
Come on, man. Yeah, these are Edomites, bro. Like, you really think these are the Israelites, man? But you said Jeremiah 16?
Yeah, I believe it's verse 14.
Jeremiah 16 and 14. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, that it shall no more be said, Yahweh liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But Yahweh liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, and from all the lands whither he had driven them. And I will
Right.
bring
You got it, Oxalaki.
and I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers.
Right. Key point. The Lord is going to bat his hand. The Lord, Yahweh BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI, personally, Yahweh is going to send his son YAHAWASHI back to deliver his elect. What's that? Matthews 24 and 30. Deliver his elect from the four corners. YAHAWASHI personally, Yahweh, going to send his son YAHAWASHI back and ultimately personally put the children of Israel back into that land, man. Not through no Balfour Declaration, not through getting on no ship, and ultimately what? Going back to the land willy nilly. No, ultimately what? Yahweh Shai is ultimately what is going to deliver us and personally put us back into that land, man.
That's it, bro. Shit, while we're here, Ezekiel 36, I'm gonna just hit the points.
Yes,
But
sir.
this is the prophecy showing you that Edom would control the land in the last days, which is what we see. So Ezekiel 36 and 2, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, because the enemy hath said against you, aha, even the ancient high places are ours in possession.
Yep.
All right.
Oh, you got it, I buy
Yeah,
you.
so they took control of the land, and they're proud about it. And even when you read the Balfour Declaration, he said, "Dear Lord Rothschild, I have much pleasure in conveying to you." See, so they pointed it into their possession with all the joy of their heart and the despitefulness of mind. They said, aha, even the ancient high places are ours in possession. All right, so they fit this prophecy. They just don't fit the prophecy of being the biblical Israelites.
Yep.
But,
Plus,
but
even in the scriptures, it
yeah,
says, a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod.
that's right.
You know, ultimately, because we know that these small hats are converts, man. You know, they stole our heritage. You know what? Just to back up on that point, you had some. I know it's a lie in that Ezekiel 36. Real
Yeah,
quick, I believe it's in Lamentations 5 and 2. You can grab it real quick.
yeah. Lamentations 5 and 2. Yup. Our inheritance is turned to strangers, our houses to aliens. Perfect.
right? So ultimately, our heritage was given to another people, man. You know, because
Uh,
ultimately, what you have the people, you have those Amalekites in the land proclaiming to be us, man. But ultimately, what they don't fit the prophecies of what it is to be a true Israelite, man. But they do fit the prophecies of ultimately what those Gentiles ultimately that was going to be in the land in the last days. They do fit that though, you know. But
right.
ultimately, these people, are converts. They stole our heritage. They stole our identity. And ultimately, what? And also the fact that they only claimed like two tribes, man. You know,
Yeah, that's
what's
folly.
that? Levi and what's that? Judah.
Judah and Levi.
Yeah, Judah and Levi. Hey, where's the Northern Kingdom, man?
Right. Where's the northern kingdom?
You know,
Because it says, "In the last days, I will bring back the captivity of Judah and Israel, and
yep.
Israel,
Hey,
not
meaning
not
what?
just yeah, Salakia.
Mean now you all good, brother. So like it for cutting you off, but ultimately, meaning what? That the true children of Israel will be in captivity until YAHAWASHI makes a second return and personally deliver us, man.
That's right. So I'm gonna go back to this Ezekiel real quick. 36:5. Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh: Surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen and against all Idumea, which is another word for Edom, which which have appointed my land into their possession with
Mm-hmm.
all of the joy of their heart, with despiteful minds, to cast it out for a prey. And that's this.
Yep. The
You know,
Balfour Declaration, man.
Balfour Declaration, man. And if you read down in this chapter, like the brother mentioned earlier, um, I'm gonna just read verse 24 and 25. For I will take you from among the heathen and gather you out of all countries, and I will bring you into your own land. So again, like the bro said, it's going to be the Lord's hand doing this, not our own, not anything we do by ourselves. Then verse 25, we're going to be perfected and not sin. So it says, then will I sprinkle clean water upon you, and you shall be clean from all your filthiness, and from all your idols will I cleanse you.
Right, meaning we're going to be made perfect. Hey, under the new covenant, we're going to be made perfect. And another big thing we didn't even mention, hey, this is another big one. The true Israelites wouldn't know who they were in the last days. Obviously, the Lord is waking us up in these last days, but the true
Right.
children of Israel will be disconnected from their heritage, man.
They would
It
have
talks
to
about
wake
it.
up.
Yep. It talks about that in Baruch 2, I believe. It says, in
Uh,
the land of their captivities, they shall remember themselves.
yeah,
You
Baruch
know?
3:8.
So ultimately, what? Before the Lord, started bringing the truth back into our people, it was a point in time where what? We would not know who we were, man.
Oh, yeah, I'm trying to find it. You said two?
Yeah,
Like,
Baruch 2, and I believe it's like 30, like in the 30s, I believe.
yeah, right here. It says in Thessalonians as well,
Yep.
the falling away. So it says Baruch 2 and 30. For I knew that they would not hear me because it is a stiff necked people, but in the land of their captivities they shall remember themselves.
Right. In the land of their captivities, they shall remember themselves because according to the small hat, they always knew who they were, man. According to them, you know, which actually, goes into what biblical prophecy of what that Baruch 2 is talking about, man. The true children of Israel will ultimately what? Discontinue from their heritage and ultimately in captivity, we're going to remember ourselves, man. You know? Hey, going into that Ezekiel the 37 chapter, man, talking about the dry bones. The mass awakening of the true Israelites, man, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man.
Con,
I had a quick one for you, Ibaya.
con.
This is the book of Luke 21 and 24. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword and shall be led away captive into all nations. Right. So ultimately, what? We fell away, man. It happened in what? During 70 AD. That's the beginning of the scattering. And then later on, you had the transatlantic slave trade where we ultimately lost who we were. We lost our nationality, man. What's that? Jeremiah 17 and 4. We shall discontinue from the heritage that the Lord YAHAWASHI has given us, man. And ultimately, what? We would be scattered throughout these different lands, man. And it
Mm-hmm.
reads, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. Right? Because not only, mainly you have Amalek, the Edomites, the tribe of Amalek of the nation of Edom and the land of Israel. But who do you also have over there, man? You have Cush, because Cush also claims to be, Jewish. You have Cush. You have different heathens sprinkled in that area, man. You have Ishmael. So ultimately, it says to the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled, man, because the Lord is ultimately using these Gentiles, beginning with Amalek, to fulfill His purpose. And what is the Lord's purpose, regarding Amalek? Hey, the least of the flock shall draw him out, man,
Mm-hmm.
or the least of the flock shall draw them out, because the Lord is using Amalek to draw these different nations to World War III to fulfill His will. And what is the will of the Lord, man? Ultimately, what to drown those rats out of that land, man, and ultimately use this as a catalyst, what to drop missiles upon America, man. Which is Babylon the Great.
Yeah,
And this is the Lord's purpose, man.
the America's fighting Iran right now. That's because of the state of
Yep.
Israel. They completely draw them in. Because without America, Israel would be basically kicked out of that region, because no one wants them in that region. It's really just America's backing that has kept them. And now, like the brother quoted, the least of the flock is drawing everyone out to fight.
Yep. And just to prove that fact, I buy you grab Obadiah 1 and 2.
Yeah, this Obadiah 1 and 2. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen; thou art greatly despised.
I believe when it says small among the heathen, I believe that goes into the it escapes me right
Yeah,
though.
I got you. It's Quatan. Young, small, insignificant, unimportant.
Right, and beginning with these Amalekites, man. Hey, they're the least important, man.
Small.
They're small among the heathen, man.
They're small in number too.
Yep.
That's another point too, because Israel is going to be as the sand of the sea.
What's that? It says that in Hosea the 1st chapter.
Who's a
Yeah,
fruitful?
Israel.
What's a fruitful people, man? Those small hats are not like how Jake is.
Yep.
Jake,
And
you just
ultimately,
look at the woman and she's pregnant.
oh yeah, Jake have Jake's be having big families, man. Especially the Northern Kingdom, man. And that
That's
goes
what
back to the fact. Hey, where's the Northern Kingdom at, man?
Ephraim's name means. I am fruitful.
Yep. But ultimately, man, hey, these small hats are not the people. The fact that they're don't know where to go, being rained down by rockets and missiles, proves that they're not the people, man. Because as I read in that Deuteronomy 33 earlier, hey, Israel shall dwell in safety alone, man.
Yeah, that's perfect. All right, so I got 2nd Ezra 6 and 9.
Yep.
All right, because we understand that Esau would be ruling at the end of the world. It's very simple. It's very plain. The scriptures actually make it so plain that we don't even have to explicitly say, like, "Oh, the small hats are not the people." We could literally just read the scriptures and be like, "Okay, let's put 2 and 2 together." Like, it's very plain. So 2nd Ezra 6 and 9.
Hey, real quick, you could jump to verse start at verse 7.
2nd Ezra 6 and 7, and it reads, "Then answered I and said, What shall be the parting asunder of the times? Or what shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth?"
Right, because Ezra, ultimately, gave, was given a vision from the angels to see far into the future, man. So Ezra is essentially, I believe this is the angel Uriel. Correct me if I'm wrong. So ultimately, Ezra was asking the angel, when this is going to be the end of all this, of these, this heathen dominion, man. So ultimately, Ezra is asking the angel this question, man, and the angel is answering him. You got it, I buy you.
It says, or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? And he said unto me, From Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau.
Yep.
For
So
Esau,
ultimately, going back to the account of Genesis, the 25th chapter, man, when Jacob and Esau were born, it says what? Jacob held first the heel of Esau, man, which is symbolic of what?
right.
Esau going down, you know? And ultimately, what? The heel represents the end. Who's ultimately going to bring the end into either Edomites? YAHAWASHI. Yahweh's going to send in the son, YAHAWASHI, back to ultimately what? To take this devil out of power. Because it says the same thing in Daniel. I believe that's Daniel 7 and verse 9. ultimately the thrones were cast down and the Ancient of Days did sit. And that those thrones is talking about what? Heathen dominion, man. Hey, Revelation says the same thing. That Yahawashi had many crowns upon his head, man. So what? Esau, Edom is the last heathens to rule. Beginning with these Amalekites are the last heathens to rule before the establishment of the kingdom of heaven, man. Because He even talks about and it just escaped me. He even talks about damn, it just escaped me. But you can finish that out, Salakia.
Khan, 2nd Ezra 6 and 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth.
Oh, the Wadi YAHAWASHI, that's exactly what I was going to say. It says Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. If you go into that word world, it goes to what? What's that? Aeon?
Age.
Eon?
Age.
Age. Ultimately, we're at the end of Esau's age, and I believe it had came back to me. What's that? Isaiah 63. Yahawashi is coming back to a world ruled by the Edomites, man.
Yep.
No.
Yep. Isaiah 63. You want me to read that?
Yeah, you can read it real quick.
Isaiah 63 and 1. Who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Basra? All right.
Yeah, who's that coming from Edom with dyed garments and Basra, man? Ultimately what? Yahawashi is going to return in a world ruled by the Edomites, man. Which is another big, detail, man, because everything that we're seeing right now, man, hey, what's that, Lord willing, we can end up doing a lesson on this too. I had seen the article, but I didn't, strictly dive into it. A lot of these U.S. soldiers, a brother did the lesson on, I seen the title, and it's the article out there too, how a lot of these U.S. soldiers are ultimately saying that what? Which is biblical prophecy, that this war that we're seeing right now is going to usher in the return of what they say, quote unquote, Jesus Christ, man, which we know his name to be Yahawashi Mashiach, man. So, and ultimately what? Donald Trump is, used as the catalyst to ultimately to bring all these things into fruition, man. You got the small hats and everything that we're seeing right now, man. It's ultimately going to usher in the Yahawashi to take this devil out of power.
Kahana says, this that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength, I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save. So Yahawashi is coming back from a slaughter. That's his dyed garments from Edom and Basra, which represents America. Basra being that capital stronghold of Edom, which today will be America. And Yahawashi traveling with the chariots, glorious in his apparel, with a glorified body as a god,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right? Mighty to save, man. So he's gonna Yahawashi is gonna slaughter Edom, man, and save the elect as well.
And that's right, man. And ultimately what? Hey, the true people of Yahawah BAHASHAM Yahawashi is going to retake the land, man.
Yes, sir.
And also, one more thing we can add, that whole region belonged to us. What's that, from Saudi Arabia, so-called Saudi Arabia? Hey, Israel, that whole region surrounding up that whole area, belongs to us, man. And ultimately what? They don't have that, man. That's what they're fighting for right now.
Yep, from the river of Egypt to the Great River.
Yep.
Right, from Egypt to Euphrates. Genesis 15, the Lord told Abraham,
Yes, sir. But that's pretty much all I had, Bob. You had anything?
That's all I got for now.
Yep. So I'm gonna close this out. We hope that lesson was edifying. Want to end up by giving our praise, honor, glory to Yahawah, BAHASHAM, BAHASHAM, Rakam Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of great millstone that taught us his truth, and salutations to the hopeful elect that's around the four corners of the globe. Lord willing, we hope this lesson was edifying. Till next time, call me Yasharella, Shalom, and a Baba Ball.
Baba Ball. Shalom.
Shalom.